the skyrocketing cost of living.
So the high cost of living is just one reason more Canadians are choosing to live abroad. There's a spike in the number of people making a move.
I was skipping meals because I was struggling to afford my food and my rent.
How many Canadians are struggling with the rising cost of living? 1 in 4 people living in poverty in this country.
Citizens all over the world have often referred to Canada as one of the greatest countries. Thus, lots of people would like to have their home in this country because it offers free health care, it's beautiful, safe, and tolerant. However, in the past few years, the native image of this existence has begun to deteriorate. Unfortunately for the common Canadian, existence in the country has become increasingly more of a struggle and possibly impossible. Well, what is prompting this? Why are people, especially Canadians or even immigrants from other countries, finding it difficult to survive life comfortably in this one-time dreamland? Let's explore why life in Canada has become so challenging and, for some, downright unbearable. Part 1. The housing crisis. A home you can't afford. Many factors contribute to the problems felt in Canada, but chief among them is the high cost of housing. Purchasing a home, earlier a common phenomenon among the people attaining adulthood, is now unattainable for the majority of Canadians. Unrealistic home prices. In the present day and age, average prices for homes in Toronto and Vancouver stand above $1 million. Smaller cities that were once relatively affordable, such as Halifax and Winnipeg, are already showing a rash of unrestrained home price growth. Why is this happening? Several factors are at play. Foreign investments. It's clear there's been a culture developed among foreign investors to purchase property as a form of investment, putting pressure on housing prices. Low housing supply. It is a general problem that more homes are not constructed to meet the growing need. Speculation. Of all business activity, speculative real estate is the most dangerous in that it has formed a bubble. Renting isn't easier. If you fancy yourself a renter all your life, you might want to reconsider. The average rent for a one-bedroom apartment in Toronto is above $2,300 per month. Families, of course, incur a higher cost for a larger area of the housing stock. More than half of Canadians spend over 50% of their income on rent and cannot afford necessities or preparation for an emergency. Number 2. Everyday costs are skyrocketing. Housing is not the only sector making Canadians' wallets lighter. Across the board, the cost of existence has now skyrocketed, meaning something as basic as buying food and getting around has become more challenging. Groceries are out of reach. Why do you think your grocery bill is going up every week? You're not imagining it. Food inflation has been a rising trend that continues to haunt Canadian cost of living indices more than ever before. According to experts, food inflation is being driven by several factors. Challenges posed on the supply side as a result of the pandemic. Global warming is inclusive of crop yield. Higher fuel costs as it raises transporting costs. A loaf of bread, eggs, and meat, which are necessities, all have assumed the ration of luxury items to many families. Such other families are barely managing to feed themselves due to some societal challenges that require sacrifice. Shelters that used to be considered more of a last-stop solution are needed by more and more Canadian individuals. Gas and utilities. Besides the increase in food prices, the price of gasoline has increased, meaning it will cost more to get to work or travel. Essential items like heating during the winter, since the country is located in Canada, also add a lot of cost. In families that are surviving from one paycheck to the other, such costs therefore cut deep. Number 3. The job market. Plenty of jobs, but few opportunities. On paper, Canada's job market has never seemed better, with low unemployment rates. But look beneath the surface, and what do you get? Underemployment and low wages. Today, there are many opportunities in the labor market, which can be identified as low-wage, part-time, and/or temporary employment. These are employed people who earn wages that are still very low in today's economy. The emerging working populace earns what is referred to as the minimum wages, and many can barely feed themselves, let alone afford a house, due to the higher cost of living. It's worse for people who are unemployed, first-time job seekers, which include college graduates, and new job seekers. Other graduates with degrees, often acquiring a certain skill set, may find themselves working in positions that are far from that level. Immigrants struggle even more. Canada markets itself as a land of opportunity for immigrants, but the reality is often disappointing. Highly skilled newcomers frequently face barriers, such as strict licensing requirements for professions like medicine or engineering. Employers demanding Canadian experience, leaving immigrants unable to use their overseas qualifications. This forces many to take low-paying jobs just to survive, despite being overqualified. Automation is taking over. To make matters worse, automation and artificial intelligence, or AI, are replacing jobs in industries like manufacturing, transportation, and even customer service. This shift is leaving many workers uncertain about their future. Number 4. Healthcare. Free, but frustrating. Canada's universal healthcare system is often held up as a model for other countries. While it's true that healthcare is free at the point of use, the system is far from perfect. Long wait times. The biggest issue? Wait times. Need to see a specialist or get surgery? Be prepared to wait months or even years. For some, these delays can be life-threatening. Shortage of doctors. Canada is also facing a severe shortage of family doctors. In some provinces, residents can't even find a physician to take them on as patients. This leaves many relying on overburdened walk-in clinics or emergency rooms, which only adds to the strain on the healthcare system. Number 5. Brutal winters and climate change. If you've ever experienced a Canadian winter, you know it's not for the faint of heart. But lately, extreme weather events have been making life even harder. Harsh winters. In most provinces, winter lasts for 6 months or more. Temperatures can plummet to negative 30 degrees Celsius or lower, and heavy snowfall can make commuting and daily life a challenge. Heating costs during these months are another financial burden. Climate change impacts. Canada is also feeling the effects of climate change. Wildfires, floods, and heat waves are becoming more frequent and severe. In British Columbia, for example, wildfires have destroyed homes and forced thousands to evacuate. These disasters not only endanger lives, but also create significant economic and emotional distress. Number 6. Taxes and government failures. Canadians pay some of the highest taxes in the world, from income tax to sales tax. While taxes fund essential services like healthcare and education, many feel they're not getting their money's worth. Unfulfilled promises. Successive governments have promised to address issues like affordable housing, healthcare reform, and climate action. But progress has been slow, and many Canadians feel their leaders are out of touch with their struggles. Growing inequality. Meanwhile, the wealth gap in Canada continues to widen. While the rich get richer, middle-class and low-income families are finding it harder to make ends meet. Number 7. Mental health crisis. The financial, social, and environmental pressures of living in Canada have taken a toll on people's mental health. Rising stress levels. Financial insecurity, job instability, and social isolation are common stressors. For many, these issues have been exacerbated by the COVID-19 pandemic, which disrupted lives and increased uncertainty. While mental health awareness has improved, access to affordable care remains a problem. Therapy and counseling services are expensive, and public health care options often come with long wait times. Number 8. Immigrants are leaving too. Canada has long been a top destination for immigrants, but even newcomers are starting to leave. Why are immigrants leaving? Many immigrants arrive with high hopes, only to find that the reality doesn't match the promises. Between the high cost of living, job market challenges, and lack of support, some decide to return to their home countries or try their luck elsewhere. The emotional toll. For many, leaving Canada isn't just a financial decision, it's an emotional one. After investing time, money, and effort into building a life here, giving up on the dream can feel like a personal failure. Is there any hope for change? Despite these challenges, Canada is still a country with incredible potential. Fixing the housing crisis, improving healthcare, and providing better support for workers and immigrants could go a long way in making life more manageable. But until these changes happen, it's clear why so many people are finding it impossible to live comfortably in Canada. Therefore, is the Canadian dream becoming a nightmare now? Depending on reality with escalating prices, housing shortages, and daily challenges, it becomes increasingly difficult to turn a blind eye to the crevices. I wonder, does Canada still qualify as a land of friendly people, or is it high past time for the country to bring its A game? We'd like to hear your opinion in the comments section below the video, so please feel free to share it with us. Thanks for watching, guys, and we'll be back with more content in the upcoming videos.